That was intelligent of me. Most of what I just did there was without the microphone on. So let me repeat some of it. That's why you heard the music there when I was doing everything. The chickens are pretty much free ranging now. I don't really lock them inside the box, except when I'm going to go to work and I know I'm going to be home at a relatively decent time. Ever since the Great Chicken Escape, when I couldn't get the one back in the box at night, I've just decided, and they all got out the next day, I've just decided to leave the lid off. And so what happens is they'll be hanging around out here doing their thing all day long. And at night they go back into the box, and when I actually get up in the morning to go to work, I'll come out here and I'll check it, and I'll count chickens, and there's still 11 birds here right now. But they all go back into the roost every single night, which is awesome. Yesterday it rained all day long, and I was at work for an extra 3 hours, so I didn't even get home till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And all the chickens, thank goodness it rained, were all bedded up underneath the fifth wheel trailer. But they're doing great. Still got all 11 birds. They're all happy, healthy. Picked up another bag of feed for them today. This is a different brand because the brand that I was normally using they couldn't get, but this is actually milled in Alaska, so I'm happy about using that brand as well. What? You guys see something? Their food consumption's gone down quite a bit, so this will be bag number 3 of feed for them. And from what I understand, I feed them chick starter until they start laying eggs. When they start to lay their first eggs, and I slowly transfer them over to layer feed. But like I said, the feed that I got them is from Alaska Mills, so it's a couple of bucks more a bag, but it's a local milled feed, which is more important to me. And with them free ranging now, I'm going through a lot less feed, where I would fill them 2, maybe 3 times a day. Here, you know, sometimes it's a 1.5 a day, because what they're doing is they're going out into the woods here, all around the trailer and all around the property, and they're digging through the moss and they're scratching up everything they can, and feeding themselves quite well, actually. Hey, hey! Uh-oh, it's eating my oregano. Hang on. Nope. Apparently chickens like oregano. Might want to just peck the heck out of this one. I don't know if the oregano plant's going to make it or not. I've got the oregano, the basil, and the tomato, and I've got a bunch of other starters up in the window that I transplanted the other day. They're heading over towards the tomato and the basil now. I may have to put those up somewhere where the chickens can't get them right away. Yep, got the basil. Okay, I'll be back. So I don't have any prepared soil for any kind of gardening this year, so I'm going to have to build my own
with some stuff that I've done in the past. Today I stopped off and picked up 2 bags of steer manure blend, 2 bags of all natural potting mix, and a bale of sphagnum peat moss to build up a nice aerated bed here for the potatoes. What you just saw me doing there was, when it's been raining, I've been collecting all the rainwater that I can around the area and using it to water the plants and see how they're doing. As you can tell by looking at those other plants, the basil got hit by the freeze pretty good, which really messed it up. And then the oregano, I think this had the same issue, but they are coming back. They are pretty strong, and the tomatoes doing pretty fantastic. I'm really kind of surprised at how well the tomatoes doing. Today it's about 65 degrees here, maybe close to 70. A little bit of humidity in the air, and I'm gonna build these beds right now and get these things started so that I can get the potatoes in the ground today. And then I'm gonna probably have to figure out a couple of container methods for water, so I can start heading down to the river and hauling water back up here. River's not far at all, and I do have access to it, because I can't think that will do anything but help the garden if I'm watering it with the river water, with all of the organic matter that's in there.
Where to begin? There it is. This stuff only cost about $3.97 a bag, which is pretty reasonable. And I've had great luck using steer manure in a lot of the stuff that I've grown in the past. All right. Get those started first. About a half a bag to start. All right.
Okay, so what I did there was I went with the base of the steer manure, then threw in half a bag of the peat and mixed that all together, and then threw in a bag and a half of the potting mix, mixed all that together. And right before I mixed it all together, you saw me hit that white powder. That's bone meal, because potatoes really love phosphorus, and that's what this is going to be, a potato bed. So I wanted to make sure I had phosphorus in there. This is kind of an experiment, because in the past all I've done is just thrown potatoes under dirt and grown them. I want to see how much of a difference the phosphorus actually makes this year. Obviously this is a great location, sunny. When it rains it's unencumbered, so it gets plenty of moisture with the rain. And then I didn't do anything to fill the gaps between these logs, but as you can tell, I'm really not losing any dirt out of the side of them at all. So let's go ahead and grab the potatoes. I'll tell you what varieties I have, and we're going to figure out how many I have, and then we're going to plant them in here. I'm going to do the trench method, and then I can just hill them over, and then as they start to grow and do good, I'll probably top them off with straw or hay, probably straw going forward. That way I don't have to keep adding dirt to this. The potatoes themselves are going to grow in the dirt, and now I've got about this much soil for them to grow in, which is awesome. So let me go get the potatoes and I'll be right back. This is quickly becoming a garden table, it looks like. I'm drinking sun tea, and if I haven't explained to you what sun tea is before, I'm going to go ahead and include that right now on how I make sun tea, and then we'll get back to the potatoes. But it is yummy. Oh, also, I'm going to show you something that you can do with your potatoes when they're starting to get a little bit too soft to actually do anything with, so that you don't lose them. I'm working on that at the same time inside the trailer. So let's get started on this now. Okay, so I picked these up at Cadre Feed here in Soldotna, Alaska, and that's where I got the chickens from. And I figured if the chickens were so indestructible and lived so well, hush guys, I'm making a video here, then, you know, I'm going to give the potatoes a try too. So here's the varieties I came up with. These are Redson, and it's a red potato, and as you can tell, it's ready for the plant right now. And I also picked up Gold Rush Russet. Same thing, right? Ready to go right now. And finally, the ultimate potato for Alaska as far as I'm concerned, Yukon Golds. These are delicious. These are so yummy. So we're going to see how many we have. We're going to lay them out over there, and then I'm going to trench them. And I'm probably going to go 3 rows, 1, 2, 3 in the bed, because it'll be easier to control what I have and where I have it. And then we'll mark the... I'll get a little stake and mark which variety is which as we go. But let's figure that I'm going to go red furthest away, Yukon Gold closest to me, and we'll go with these russets in the middle. Potatoes are probably the easiest crop you're ever going to grow, no matter where you live. They just basically put them in the ground and they grow. There's a couple of schools of thought, though, on how you're supposed to do it. There are a lot of people who will tell you that You need to take this potato and you need to cut off the sections where there's an eye growing, and then each one of those is a potato plant. And that will work, and that is true. That's the way it's been done forever. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these things in full potatoes, with these working their way up already, because obviously this is looking for the sun right now. So I'm going to do that, figuring out how much I have of each potato. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 5 of the reds, and I'm gonna work my way down here and lay them all in. I started the entire thing here with 7 pounds of potatoes, and that's kind of important. I want to make sure that you understand that, because when we're all done and we harvest these potatoes, I'm going to weigh them up, and I'll tell you how many pounds of potatoes I get from 7 pounds of potatoes, if I get any at all. But we'll tell you exactly what the yield is going to be. So let me get the trenches dug in here and ready to go, get the rest of these laid out, and then I'll get back with you. we ended up with 17 potatoes here planted. And again, you're going to hear, you know, there's many of you out there probably screaming at the screen right now saying, cut them, dry them, let them scab over. I've done it both ways. You get potatoes both ways. I want to make this as easy as I possibly can. I also didn't worry about spacing other than to make sure that I gave them all enough room, kind of equal distance between each other. So I've got 6 of the Yukon Gold, 6 of the Russet, and 6 of the red, or in 5 of the red. So 17 potatoes, 7 pounds of potatoes exactly. And we're gonna see what kind of yield we get out of them. This is the lid that I had over the tomato plant the first couple of nights when it was here because it was so frosty, and I'm just gonna use that to scoop some water out here and give it its first dosing of water today. Get a little bit of moisture in there. Although the soil is moist, and the potatoes have moisture in them to begin with. So, and I'm not really worried. They'll grow even if I don't give them this initial watering. And one of the other things I should probably point out right now too is that you saw me kind of being very gentle as I put the soil back over the spot where it started with the rake. I'm a firm proponent that you want your soil as loose as it can possibly be for anything that you're growing. Obviously, if I'm growing a tomato plant, I don't want it that loose because the tomato plant will fall over when it gets big enough. But for a root crop like this, I want it as loose as possible so that as the roots start to set and they start to produce, in this case, the tubers from potatoes, they'll have no obstacles in their way whatsoever. This would also work awesome for carrots. Doing a bed like this with carrots, because you'd have tons of super loose soil for those carrots to just expand and do their thing. If you've ever seen really gnarly, nasty looking carrots, chances are they probably had a rock around them while they were trying to grow. But that's it. We got the potatoes going. We'll see what happens as they grow up. Like I said, I probably won't do too much in the way of hilling them. I might bring a little bit of this dirt back over onto the top. But generally speaking, I'm going to cover the top of this with straw and grow my potatoes that way. It's very important that the leaves of the potato cover the potato so that you don't get green potatoes, because green potatoes can be toxic. That's why you're hilling your potatoes. That, and to give them more of a root structure so that you might get some more tubers out of it. But I have grown potatoes seriously in nothing but straw. I literally dug some trenches in the ground, laid potatoes on top of them, put straw over it, and as the tomatoes came up, I kept throwing more and more straw over it. I never put dirt on top of it again, and got beautiful looking potatoes out of it. We'll see how this goes this year. I'm kind of excited to see what's happening. Onions, I don't think are going to happen. It's too late for me to get onion sets, and it's too late for me really to start those. So I'm going to work on getting these containers here tomorrow, or what's left of the peat moss and the soil together tomorrow to transplant in some cabbage, some more tomatoes that I have, and some Paris Island lettuce. So we're going to get those transplanted tomorrow, and hopefully it'll work out. We'll see how it goes. What are we doing, chickens? How we doing, ladies? Happy inside, happy outside? Red, what's happening? Red, how is you? How is you? Getting all fluffy? Getting all fluffy? Woo! Big old fluffy bird. We're going to call Red SJ as well. Chicken, you're in my way. Thank you. Come on, move. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I talked to you while I was out there planting those potatoes about doing something with some potatoes that I had that were starting to get soft, and there's nothing wrong with them by any stretch of the imagination, but
they can be so much better. So much better. I also had some eggs that were not where they needed to be as well. So what I did was I took these potatoes and boiled them up till they were tender. Not soft, but tender. And I got them probably about 5 or 10 minutes away from where I thought they needed to be, and then turn the water off, because you don't need any more heat after that. The heat in the potato will do its own thing. Peeled the potatoes, and now I'm going to cut them up and dice them up and throw them in here once I clean this up, because this was my popcorn container. Forgot I used it for that. We're just going to whip up a quick potato salad. I've got potatoes that were on their way out. I've got eggs that were too old. And we're going to turn that into something that I can eat for the next 4 or 5 days. Potatoes are awesome because you can do so much with them. I love potatoes. So I'm a huge fan of baked potato, fried potato, potato salad, hash browns. They're just, it's like Forrest Gump. You start talking about, shrimp and everything else. But the big thing people screw up when they make potato salad is their potatoes are either too hard or they're too soft. So what I'm going to do here is dice these all up. Matter of fact, I'm going to use a better knife than that. Dice these all up and make us some potato salad here. These are just to the point where they're starting to, they're kind of tender, but they're still going to be firm enough when you bite into it. Remember, if you think your potatoes are way too close to being ready, when you pull them off the heat, you need to rinse them in cold water. That way you'll stop the cooking from the inside. Potatoes are a lot like a steak, any other tuber that you're going to cook the same way. So if you're cooking sweet potatoes or turnips or parsnips and you get them close, if you get them close, you have to cool them down really quick, because if you don't, you're going to go way too soft on them. And I'm going to do a whole batch up right now, and then I'll get back with you in a minute and I'll show you what I put in here for other ingredients. But potato salad is just a wonderful, fun thing to have cold in your refrigerator every single day. And when you buy it at the store, it sounds like it's pretty cheap, because you get a small container for, what, $3.99? So like I was saying before the battery so rudely died, when you buy potato salad in the store, it's like $3.99, $2.99 on sale, and you think, oh my gosh, that's such a bargain. But you're never going to get the ultimate flavor that you want in a potato salad unless you make it yourself. And this is just one recipe. I would ask any of you guys that make your own potato salad at home, do me a favor. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you do with yours, because I would love to try some different recipes on it. Like I said, I am a huge, huge fan of potato salad in general. A lot of times I like to use red onion. I don't have a red onion here, but I have some white onions that need to get used too. So, basically what we're doing here is we're making a a salad from all the leftover stuff we have, right? And every day that it sits in the refrigerator, it just gets better and better and stronger, and oh, so good, so good. And I've never had a time of the year where potato salad wasn't good. So, middle of winter, potato salad's awesome. Middle of summer, potato salad is super special. But neither one of those ever has a bad day with potato salad. So with those just few potatoes that I had there, I don't know, I should have counted them for you, I told you. I ended up with quite a bit of potatoes in here, right? Now I need to get rid of some eggs. Probably get rid of those. And it's a great thing to do with your eggs, that even if they were at the point where they're going out of date, just hard boil them up, because hard boiling them will cook them, and then they'll be good in your refrigerator for even longer. These ones here were about a week out of date. If you have chickens and you raise your, you produce your own eggs, this is a kind of a difficult thing for you to do. Real fresh eggs, from what I understand, will not peel very easily. But I do the same thing with the eggs that I do with the potatoes, right? I start them in cold water,
I bring them up to a boil. And I let them go for just with the eggs, just for a couple of minutes, and then one more. Save a couple in there for me to snack on. Bring them up to a boil, and then after they've boiled for a few minutes, I just turn the water off and let the eggs soak in there, and they finish cooking. Okay. So we've got our eggs, we've got our potatoes, so technically it's a potato egg salad. Perfect. Let's get a little bowl for the yolks. Now, I'm going to chop up the egg and throw the egg into the salad, but I am not going to throw the yolks in there by themselves, or with the egg whites, because I do something with the yolks to make the salad oh so perfect. Everybody's got, like I said, everybody's got their own recipe, so leave your recipe in the comments below and let me know how you guys do it. Probably should throw some onion in there as well, so let me get that. These are little onions, so we'll do one whole onion. And of course I'll save all of this stuff for my compost pile out by the potatoes. Then I've got my egg yolks. I'll take those, and I'll need a spoon. I'm going to break all these down and mash them all up so that I can mix them together with the other ingredients that are going to go in here. So I like a creamy potato salad. And in order to get a creamy potato salad, I need to add the ultimate cream, mayonnaise. So on the West Coast it's Best Foods, on the East Coast it's Hellmann's. It's the same mayonnaise. I'm going to throw some in here, and then I'm going to throw more in the pan or in the container over there. And egg yolks, like I said before, have this tendency to thicken anything up liquid-wise that you mix with them. So if you've ever eaten a hard-boiled egg, which I'm sure you have, and you eat too many of them, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I need something to drink, it feels like it's stuck in my throat. That's because it's absorbing all the moisture it can when it's going down. And then we also need, I probably have one open. Let's see here. We need a little bit of yellow mustard. For two reasons. One for the mustard flavor, the other for the vinegar. Let's do this one. Okay. That on top. Now we need to add some seasonings. I've got pepper, I've got garlic, I've got kosher salt, but I think I have regular salt in here as well, which would be nicer, I think. Basically, we're going to do whatever we can out of the cupboard. I don't need tri-tip rub, that's for sure. Probably use a little basil. There's that salt I was talking about. Sure don't want fennel. Don't want curry. I'm going a little bit of thyme won't hurt it as well. We don't want rosemary. Maybe a pinch of oregano. Just a pinch of that. Okay, so black pepper. I use the fresh cracked pretty much exclusively for everything I do. We'll put some more in there if we need it. Salt, regular old table salt. I'm not putting that much in there. The salt's been around for a while. So it's kind of bricked up on me. Let's see if I can do this a little faster. There we go. I said I was going to put a little thyme in there. We're going to hit it with some garlic, because I put garlic in just about everything. And then I said a pinch of oregano. But with the oregano, I'm going to crush the leaves a little bit. That's probably enough to release the oils. Then I'm going to hit it with a couple of more dollops of mayo in here. And we're going to mix all this together. Now you're probably thinking, well, you know, that's a lot of mayonnaise, but there's a lot of potatoes in there too. And you're also probably thinking, when you see it after a bit, that's not enough liquid. And I agree, it's not. So now we need to add the ultimate liquid ingredient. And that is, you can use whatever ones you want, but I use distilled white vinegar. And I'm going to pour it pretty generously on there. That's probably about 1/3 of a cup. I was told when I was younger, when my mom used to make this all the time, that she got the recipe from my grandmother, who's German, and that this was German potato salad. But in reality, German potato salad is served warm. But what you're looking for here, and I'm going to throw a little bit more mayo in there, I think. What you're looking for here is a creamy layer of, let's call it goodness, a creamy layer of goodness in the potato salad that will continue to add flavor. That'll work. Continue to add flavor to this potato salad as it sits in the refrigerator day after day after day. And if it gets too thick, you know, then by all means, don't hesitate to add a little more mayonnaise, sprinkle in a little bit more vinegar. Because it'll just get better and better and better the longer it sits. And the vinegar, I think, is the trick. I think that's the one thing that's missing from the store-bought potato salads is, you know, you get them and you taste them and they don't have any tang to them. And trust me when I say that good potato salad's always going to have a little bit of tang left over. So see how we're much more creamy in here now? All right, now we have to give it a taste and find out if we've seasoned it properly. So I've got a fork here. It's got enough mustard. Probably could use a little more black pepper. Maybe a touch more salt.
There we go. Got myself a cheeseburger with a couple slices of cheese on there and some mustard, mayonnaise, and pickle relish on the top, and homemade potato salad with a little bit of paprika and a sprinkle of thyme on there because I didn't have any parsley. Any dinner. There's a gang right there chasing each other around. So I popped the 2x12 kind of as a ramp to the table to see if that would get them to walk up, and I didn't really do anything, and next thing you knew they were on their way up there walking up. But they're spending most of their days out here wandering around the yard.